Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Skill Room podcast. In our communities, the majority of local businesses start out in a backyard, in a kitchen, or even a small space just in the bedroom. So, today we'll be discussing about spotting opportunities and turning local ideas into market wins. And today we have someone here who probably started with more resources than some of us have. However, we're aware that structure, strategies, principles are all the same. So kindly introduce yourself, sir.
Thank you. I am Mr. Obiora Azichoba, the CEO of Maximus Global Logistics Limited, Executive Director with Crispan Hotels, and few other conglomerates. Yeah,
You're very welcome, and we're happy to have you today.
same here. Thank you so much.
All right, so just for us to have a kickstart, kindly share with us your background with business. I mean, I've had a first-hand experience of doing business with you, so just share with us what your background was like with regards to business.
Oh, wow. And considering the time here, that was so much. Anyways, I'll find ways to summarize as much as I can. This, I would say, can be traced back to over 30 years back.
Wow.
Yes. Why? Our parents, both of them business persons, while growing up, introduced us to thinking while we go to school as business people. Yes. So after school, I consciously made that decision after weighing different opportunities, options, and I realized that the business way within the resources I have was good, was great. And we're talking about 2006 actively. After service 27, I went to Lagos. I will say learning trade. Igbo call it Iba boy. Yes, don't try to pronounce it. Yes, so that I can tell you, I had that, I won't use the word privilege, but it is a privilege to go through that system. And that was my first real experience into that business world. So after that, that was in Lagos back in 2007.
How long did you do that for?
For about 3 years, importation. Importation. There were quite a number of factors that I noticed
Yeah.
that played out. And that's why if you ask me today if I am still in importation, I will say no. And maybe in the course of the discussion, I can
Shed some more
share
light.
some more light to that.
Okay, when you went to start out that business, did you have any prior knowledge or that was your first time having a first-hand experience with business? I don't mean that kind of business. I mean like business
No,
generally.
no. Business generally, as I said, growing up, our dad used to make us, that's the whole children,
Yeah.
as in especially paid attention much more to the sons. So all of us, and coincidentally, all of us are into business as we speak. So yes, I've had experience prior to them
Okay.
about business. Few principles, characters, core values already developed before even going into Lagos. But then, talking about the importation, that was my first experience. Reason, trying to branch out of family business. So, more or less, seeking opportunity in another field.
Wow. Okay, so you've shared with us Maximus Global, which is your current business now. So how many businesses have you tried or how many business opportunities have you explored?
To say a few, I can tell you that there are more than seven.
Interesting.
Yes. And presently, about five of them doing okay, very okay right now.
Wow. Very impressive. What are some systems that you would say are repetitive principles and systems that, every time you want to do a business, you know that these are the things that I need to bring into this new one?
Okay, all of them, success has a common denominator.
Which is,
First, you just have to believe that there is a superpower first. Not to sound maybe superstitious, spiritual, but it exists. Knowing that place, then second, our role, core values. If we're to state the core values, you see it play as a common denominator, or rather common denominators around every business. You need to have vision, and as you have vision, you need to also be accountable in what you do. And in terms of character-wise, integrity, honesty, humility, they all open doors to a lot of things. Then to communication. That I can structure as we talk about. I'll expand on most of this.
all right, so just to take us back a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, so you said 5 of these businesses are currently thriving. So, how did you identify these opportunities? Because I believe that they are opportunities that you took. I mean, 7 just to fail, that's very impressive. So, how did you identify them as opportunities for you to leverage on?
I will say information. Being informed. Watch news, read dailies, read books. If one can afford, attend seminars, summits. All of these, they all have ways of expounding how we think.
Okay.
With that, you can see an opportunity, analyze the opportunity, and pick out what you think can be sustainable, because it's not just all about seeing. While looking at this room right now, I can bring out an example and say, okay, go into this, and you'll make a global money out of it.
Because of the information you already have.
Exactly.
All right, but how do you communicate to a younger person, someone who is not abreast with all of that time or resources to think of global, someone who is still at the local level, that is just a hustler. Most hustlers don't even have the time to, sit and read books, all of that. So, how does someone like that identify opportunities?
Okay, with what you're saying right now,
I would love to, sorry to cut you short, I would love to tie it to your importation business, because I believe that time you were out in the field being a hustler.
yes, as a hustler, actually.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a very great point, because we're considering it from the hustling point of view. Oneself, what exactly do you want in life, out of life? That determination, that hope, that desire.
Yeah.
What do you want? There are people that are contented with thinking about how to get a job. And when I say a job, there are jobs, of course, that pay 20,000 naira, and there are jobs that pay 20 million naira per month. On that scale, there are people that think that way. Then there are people that also think of, how do I create an industry, an institution? So it starts with the individual's desire. Talking about myself, and coming from a family that I have, my desire from then till now is actually to see how to sustain the institution, the empire already built, and also create new things to touch my generation. So the wealth is not necessarily to buy cars, to build houses, but how do I affect the people around me? That's for me. That's what gave me that push. Went to Lagos, and it gave me that enablement to humble myself and take away where I came from. We stayed at Bariga with my uncle. And from Bariga, to some of us that know Lagos, I and the other person, we will take a bus by 5 o'clock through Oyibo, mile 2 to Trade Fair. We must open the shop by 8 o'clock. Well, before then, I will say this fact, I didn't know. So I used to wait for him. I'll wake up, dress up, I didn't know. I'll wait for him till about 10 when he's leaving, and I will join him to go to work. So after a week, my uncle now called me and like, Obiora, I think you are Oga. I don't need to be going to work anymore. You go to work by 10, right? Okay, take the key. Go to the shop. Anytime you want. I'm like, Uncle, why are you saying this? With this story, he didn't need to tell me, but I already picked what he was trying to refer or talk about. I had to adjust. And so with that mindset to learn, I was able to see the business from the perspective of the boy. I learned through the rank, and yes, I did some few importations by the time that I was settled at the agreed time.
All right. I don't know if this is a comfortable question for you, but I want to ask.
Yeah.
When you were going into importation,
Yes.
was it because importation was in vogue, or I know you mentioned wanting to do something different from what family business was about?
That's more of it. Yes.
Okay.
As at that time, the opportunity there, we weighed the income from the logistic as at then, and weighed the opportunity in importation. And that importation then was from London. That, as in the opportunities in importation was far more. Okay, because we're weighing the volume of money involved in both ways. So yes, there were opportunities in the importation. That was what informed my decision to go to Lagos.
Okay, so how does a founder or someone starting out know when this is one of the businesses I should take seriously and this one I should trash it? Because the majority of people have a number of side hustles,
Yes.
doing all of them, at the same time. How do you know which is the one that I should take this very seriously?
Okay, from my own point of view, what are your beliefs? Do you want good money? Do you want any kind of money? From the belief, my belief, I want good success. Example of that, sorry, I'm going to take you back to that importation. Example of that, while I saw the stiff competition in the importation from London with minimal profit, I try to now explore China products.
Okay.
Varying from what I initially went to Lagos for to learn the London. I personally, single-handedly by then, tried to vary off. And in doing so, I actually traveled to China. But I remember a call that redirected my mindset and repositioned me to where I am today. The question my dad asked me while I was in China, after he heard the reason why I traveled there, was, you want to bring this product. Is that a standardized product that you're selling to the market? I said, no, it's a copyright. And you're copying original. The question was more or less, is this what I sent you to go do? That was actually a time that I had to rethink. So it's not all opportunities you see to want to make money that you actually take. Based on values. And based on that values, I had to retrace myself. Left that opportunity and came back from China.
Didn't you think of how much I've spent to go there, how much I'll be losing, because you were looking forward to it?
I thought of all that, and I weighed them with the core beliefs, core values. And my core values far exceed the money that I perceived I was going to make as at then. So I found solace in that. So identifying opportunities, basically, what are you comfortable with? Your belief, what do you want out of life that if you are doing it, you are proud and at peace doing? That's a starting point.
All right, I've learned a lot already, and I think one major thing is patience.
That's it.
Because I think it takes, while it is about your value, while it is your value that, makes you conscious of the choices you make. I've seen that you have to also make room for patience. That means that you also have to trust the path that you are on to reward you when the time is right.
Yes. Yes, you're right about that.
So I would love for you to share with me some more about. I'm sorry, you don't have to say numbers. But what life was like when you finally became, you could no longer behave like Oga. You had to do boy. So what was life like? What were some questions you had to, ask yourself? And like, when did the limelight finally start coming?
Okay, during that period, it was not easy, yes, having to adjust. But I did. And the questions, I kind of found myself asking quite a number of times, must I really continue doing this? Can't I just call home and say, Daddy, I want to follow my own path because you sort of convinced me to this. But I actually chose it. Now I was trying to kind of like shift. So sometimes in businesses, in choices, own up, take responsibility, don't shift. I will make excuse. I learned that during that course. So while I was at it, I just sort of had to adjust.
Yes.
Then I started seeing my contribution to the company, which I will also say in spotting opportunities. You have to, first of all, get informed. And if you're informed, you don't have the capital, and someone is right there beside you with it, assist the person. In assisting the person, you gain confidence that this, your theory, works. I can share a story about that. So that China trip I went for, because of the capital I already used and invested in that, my capital depleted. So definitely I can't import a container, a food container. And I made a call and I told my uncle, are you interested in this idea that I got? A very genuine, that was importation of pipes. Back in the days, these are trunking pipes and then for electrical works. So then it was Dignity Company. And he said, yeah, can I? I said, yeah, I've done my researches and everything. And I proposed to him, gave him the with trust, he called his friend. They sent money to me. I went to the company, I went and I made sure that they produced, shipped it back to Nigeria, and I came back. What did I do? I just established a connection for the person and the company that even when I left Lagos, they continued business, flourishing. So that you don't have capital, but you have knowledge. Be free to share.
Okay, so for someone who doesn't have access to the same kind of network you have, that means following all of the things you've shared so far, it ties itself to, finding someone next to you, finding someone ahead of you, serving before you have room to actually share.
Exactly.
And then hope that it comes through, because I'm so sure of people who have shared, because I think that trust is not easily built, and you just have to keep on serving and knowing who the right person is, when the person would agree, and continuing on that path.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. And I love giving examples. if you permit me, I will actually talk about one of the pet projects I had or was involved with in that's mining. Back in the days, about 15 years back, I will call them Mr. A, Mr. B, and Company C. Company C came to Jos to meet Mr. A and made a proposal to Mr. A. Mr. A turned down the proposal. As at that time, Mr. A was more knowledgeable than Mr. B in the mining business. Mr. B took up the offer with Company C. Along the line, as we speak right now, to just talk in modesty, Mr. B in mining business is worth billions of dollars right now in Jos. A true life story.
Risk.
Not just only risk. As I say, you remember the point I mentioned, in spotting opportunity, you have to, as in when you are informed, you also have to have that heart of wanting to kind of like help those with the means. And when you genuinely do so, life has a way of rewarding such kind of like, inputs. And the Mr. B got the reward much more than the salary or whatever low term offered.
All right. So you made reference to, leveraging on existing network, taking advantage of partnerships, mentors as a means of taking opportunities. What other ways can someone without all these other things, leverage on opportunities?
Okay. With what he just asked, I can think of one person, a mentor, Chief himself. Can I share his story?
Please go ahead.
Okay. Chief, with practically nothing but just transport money all the way from east, came down to the north with practically nothing to kind of like maybe scout for opportunities back in the early 70s. Yes. And as such, was able to maybe through an acquaintance or so pitch himself to a contracting company, Rose. I think he mentioned something like that. And he was able to start up like a level work. He started working. From then, as I say, what are the things you are known for, core values? And while you are at it, what do you want? There were people that were, I think, if I remember correctly what he said, all the way from Kaduna, Saminaka, he walked after Jingri, close to Jos.
With his legs, as in
I
treks.
said walked. What were they doing? They were marking the road. This, then it's not like a truck or a car that can like in a straight line. They, with their legs, were marking the roads. Working with Rose Company, back in the days, contracting company. But he saw beyond that. And he saw an opportunity from those people that used to supply gravels. Before you know what's happening, he made one or two contacts, then asked the company, if I bring this gravel at a lower price, are you going to give me the opportunity? They say yes. And he was able to pull that off without cash, just knowledge and opportunity. From one truck, as he was doing that, he was able to save up money to now buy his own tipper. That means more profit. And then, of course, build up from there. At a point, he realized that, okay, with this money, he can do much more by bringing some things from the east. And so he went to the east, got palm oil back in the days. So those were his earlier days businesses that he did out of foresight. Got the palm oil, back then we were living in Saminaka, so I remember a few stories from Saminaka. That's in Kaduna State, southern part. So yes, when we, not we, as if I was there, I was told. So when he got back to Saminaka with the palm oil, he just noticed a lot of people, an influx, more or less, of buyers. Why are people coming from Jos? Why are people coming from all around to come and buy palm oil? Another thing, as I said, information, foresight, and being able to be quick-witted. He had to hide some of these things, that most of it not even some. Let me just go know and find out what is going on. And this man took transport from Saminaka to Jos to come and find out why are these people coming down. Ordinarily, as a businessman, people come to want to buy things. You would think, oh, let me just sell it off. But curiosity made him come down to Jos and realize there were no palm oil in Jos after then. So he said, oh, really? And he went back to Saminaka, locked his shop. Anybody come? Oh, I don't have. It got to a point where, if I'm to put a figure, I've forgotten exactly, but if I'm to put a figure to it, then if a jerrycan 50 liters was worth 3 kobo selling price, and you still have a profit after that, after hiding, say 1 week, and he brought that the palm oils out, he sold each for more than 10 naira. Yes, making more than 1,000% profit. So what am I saying? This is a man that started with nothing, but few principles kind of like uplifted him. I remember also a story that he told us that even after all of this, there happened to be some investments he made, and a good number of those monies made were lost. But because of his relationship with, say, market people and all, there was a time he was just passing by in the East, in the same 70s through early 80s. Somebody just saw him passing by and like, I have salt. Are you interested? He said, no, I don't have cash for that. He said, no, I know you. If you're interested, since you're going back to the north, you may have. And Chief, after some few sort of like calculations, he was like, okay, did his weighing. And frankly speaking, what gave him that opportunity was because this man has been watching him from afar, seeing how he was dealing while on the palm oil and other things, that he was consistently paying as at when he said he would, that this man was willing to give on credit. And similar opportunities availed itself. Buying the salt that was practically at a giveaway price on credit, getting down to the north, very much sought after. And what did he do? In as much as sometimes, and I learned something from it, that when he went back to the north and sold all the salt, made so much money again from it, profit. First thing he did was to travel down to East to give the man back his money. Integrity. Do not use somebody's money to try something else out. If you were given, maybe say 10 naira to buy this microphone, do not think, oh, can I just go maybe buy this plant, get the money fast, and then go buy the 10 naira this? No, don't divert somebody's money and all. Use it for that purpose. That's something I learned. So talking about someone that started from practically nothing, we don't just say, okay, I'm lucky and all that. No, you have to prepare yourself. You have to be informed. You have to know. And when you know the things, you have to have a way to communicate it through the integrity, through the humility. You must have a way to communicate to someone that.
Thank you very much for sharing those stories. So I would love to bring you to this day, 2025, Tinubu is in power, the country is,
We're
is
saying
something else, you know. And I know that, like, this current economy, businessmen up there, down there, everyone has felt it badly. You know, like things are not the way they used to be anymore. But I believe that your business has still, you know, been working even with the economy. So, what were some skills that you didn't have when you started business
yeah.
that you acquired as a sustainability scheme for your own business, especially for someone who wants to build his own business independently, irrespective of, you know, whatever I can get if I fall back, wanting to stand on your own?
Okay, I will say contentment.
Okay,
I'm summarizing all under contentment.
please break it
When
down. Break
okay,
all of them down.
okay, in that you learn patience,
Okay.
which in turn you learn that timing matters in all you do. So that you are able to wait out. You have to be contented with where you are, what you're having, trusting at the right time, you will get to that level. That does not mean that if you're contented, it doesn't mean that you don't have vision. It doesn't mean that you are not ambitious. You are only just preparing, brooding yourself, waiting for that opportunity. I'm talking about, as you ask, what did I learn in this present age? Out of the businesses that I have done, in most of them, when I came back to Jos, I use the word coming back. Jos is the headquarters for the logistic company. When I came back to Jos, I didn't carry all of those, maybe say, capital and all from Lagos. Now I came back as me. And I tried to wait it out. And that's why I started with mentioning the logistic company, because even as at today, it is still the leading of all things I am doing right now.
What do I call it now? Because when you started, you said importation had more money, so you wanted to go to more money and leave logistics, and now logistics is the one that's paying you and giving you, you know, the
Yes.
comfortable life
Yeah.
that you want. You still kind of missed one of the questions.
All
I
right.
was referring to business skills.
Yeah.
Aside the values and, you know, character of contentment, what are some business skills, like selling skills, you know,
Okay.
maybe human relationship? What are those ones that, you know, currently in this economy is essential for a thriving business owner? Because even when you are waiting, there's still something you should be doing while you wait for success.
True. True.
That's what I think in the end, that's what is going to show between the one that will get a better result and the one who would most likely just have moved 2 steps, the one who has moved 10 steps, and the one.
Okay, okay, I get you. Thank you very much for the redirection. So, if I'm to pick Treasure Lounge as an
Okay.
example, and in line with what you just asked, we've been hearing about SWOT analysis a lot, and it's like a basic thing for everybody that wants to look out for opportunity. And if you're in business, what you do, SWOT analysis, simply strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. You analyze the business in those regards. And if yes, it checks, then it's good. So if I'm like likening it now to what I'm doing, as I say, one of the pet projects, the Treasure Lounge, um, it should bother around what do people want? What
Service.
service? What are the things people can conveniently, comfortably pay for? You might be selling wrapper, and another person will be selling wrapper. Why will you bring 10 wrappers? Yours will be finished, and this person will just only 3. Also, human relationship communication. How do you communicate what you have, either service or product? How do you communicate that to someone hoping to, like, oh, I'm going to give out my money to get something? Why should it be you? You have to have the answer. These are things that I have learned in the course of my journey as a business person as at this day.
All right, that's for buying and selling.
Buying and selling services, all of them.
What about someone with a skill?
Yeah, same goes for that. Communication, you have skill. How do you communicate that out? How do you present yourself as someone capable
Managing.
of managing? And I will say that sometimes for people to really be in that position of being successful, they must have gone through thick and thin, quite a number anyways, of like maybe meeting people. So they will be able to decipher those that are genuine and not to a large extent. All right? So people cannot feign integrity.
If you have it, you have it.
If you have it, you have it. So you have skill and you're trying to mask it under humility. Within few periods, it can be sieved out. A lot of times, people being mischievous, thinking that that's the very shortcut to making money. They don't really last because in quite a number of their decisions, they will be following that. Not just about karma, but practically. Why? The mindset already has been thwarted towards that direction.
All right. So, thank you very much for all the wonderful stories you shared with us. As a sustainability scheme, I believe, or should I say, from my experience, I've learned that while you build a business, you're also building a personal brand. You're also branding yourself. So how do you maintain sustainability? I mean, Maximus has been in existence for how many years now?
Yeah, from the parent company for over 5 years.
For over 5 years, and I'm sure that the parent company was how many years?
2010 to now, so that's 15 years.
So what are the sustainability strategies, trying to manage being sustainable and then scaling up? What are those strategies and principles to have in place?
Okay, after studying the success stories of the parent company ANCAPS and adopting some of the futures principles, starting with accountability, what we are doing. Do you know when you're making this? Do you know when you're making that? You have to be accountable in every sphere. Then discipline. That, okay, you're seeing a figure like this. You might just rush to because you have access to it. You might just rush to use it for either personal gratification or other thing. In business, that's not required. Why? Because that same figure you're seeing, you might require to use it for that business. And as at the time that you need it for the business, if it is not there, likely you might have to either sell, meaning that you're scaling down. Either sell the truck or maybe get any of your assets why? Because you want that business to continue. You have it's a time limit business. So why not have that savings that should opportunity come or whatever it is, you use it back for the business. So these are things I learned, the principles, so to say. And then, and for the business, maintenance culture. I'm now speaking, I think it's not really just totally streamlined to logistics, to trucks. In most of our businesses, there are one way or the other to do maybe say maintenance, servicing and all. You have to apportion some of your income to that. So these are things that if you put in place, I can tell you, you are building institution that can now last just beyond your physical presence there. And talking about that also, being abreast with the technology. Yeah, you have to be informed that, what technology can do. Imbibe that. As in transportation right now, we're using a lot of softwares to keep our accounts, and that's been very helpful. Yeah. So I don't know if maybe I can
Oh
add.
yeah, you answered. You answered it well. But I still, you talked about maintenance culture. I like to marry to the local business owner because those are our target audience. So let's say a young girl or a young lady who has a tailoring shop or something, and she has a machine, of course, savings, got another machine, got other facilities as well. What are the maintenance culture you would suggest if you were the one in this business? Are you referring to managing a sewing machine, managing the people who work, maybe the kind of design she takes? Like, what are those maintenance cultures practically?
Okay, so going by the example you just picked, so we're into fashion, sewing, precisely. So if we're to talk on maintenance, yes, you've mentioned scaling up from one machine to second to maybe third, and along the line, the business as it's flourishing, getting more money. Yes, maintenance in this aspect can be, of course, to even make more of the facilities because the person might need even like a mannequin. The person might need like a tripod stand, maybe for maybe taking pictures
Pictures.
and all. At this point, phones can can be an asset, not a liability for good work, for good imaging and all. So all of this maintenance now is now like geared towards the business. Unlike some entrepreneurs will see those monies, obviously that looks like profit.
Yeah.
Why? Because they bought a material with 5,000 naira. They have just one machine. After sewing, they made about, say, maybe they sold the material, I mean the dress for like 20,000, made 15,000. And feel like, oh, why not use that 15,000 naira to go maybe take myself out? So the maintenance is actually like enriching the business. If such a person has workers, welfare is part of it. That what they will be in that right frame of mind to deliver the best to consumers. Yes. So when you are more of your of expanding your business, you have that culture. You can actually put that maintenance, that servicing as such.
All right. Thank you very much. I think we're coming to the end of our show today. So, just as a way of rounding up, what are some parting words that you have for a founder out there, a business owner out there? I mean, the people behind the camera are creatives about growing and scaling.
Okay. Um, Before I get to this point that I set down, of course, scaling up and growing business because you're already doing some things right, and as you are at it, watch out for the timing. And with whatever you are going to use to venture into that project, make sure it does not affect the operation of the existing one. I have a cash cow earning me about 100,000 naira monthly, and I want to go into a business that is promising to give me 1 million naira monthly, and that business needs 80,000 naira. I won't go into it. Because if I remove 80,000 naira from my 100,000, I doubt if that business can continue. I will go into a business that might tell me I should remove 10,000 naira from the 100,000, and I will make 20,000. If that business is now tried, after making the 20, I plow back that 20 because really that is like a savings. I still have the other one running comfortably. I plow back, that 20 makes me 40. That 40 makes 100. Patiently, I can even, and that's another thing again, in business, when you have tried a venture and it is working, you can access a loan from the bank when you have a track record. You can meet an investor. You can have this partnership mindset. Why? Because you already have that track record. That is what I would have to say on the sustainability and growing business. And if I'm to leave our audience with some few words from all that we've been talking about regarding spotting opportunities and being able to, as an entrepreneur, with resources or without resources, positioning oneself to enriching, himself or herself, I would want to actually mention these core values. I pen down. Do I have the time?
Please go ahead.
Okay, great. So there was a summit I attended, and it's a video. Wonderful speaker. I think that should be a few years back, right? When he mentioned this point, I just jotted them down here with me. That if you're doing anything in life and you want to be successful, first thing that you should have truthfulness to yourself, to people. Truthfulness likened to honesty. Righteousness also kind of seemed like truthfulness, but being right, doing right things, thinking right. If the rule safety say go this way, why take the opposite direction one way? Why? Just because you think you're in a hurry? No. You learn to what? Obey the law. That's righteousness, right? Doing right things. Then also performance. So sometimes we feel like, oh, just because nobody's looking at us, we don't have to. As someone said, you should labor when you're at it, so that at the later time you can enjoy. But if you try to enjoy when you should labor, you will end up laboring when you should be enjoying. Reverse case. So in other words, when it is time to work, to do things, stand up and do that. Yes. And then discipline. In the course of our talks and all, we'll be mentioning that discipline. In all, there should be that control to our desires for some of the luxuries. If you can afford the luxuries without hampering where you're going to, that's the vision financially and all, why not? Other than that, be patient. Talking about discipline, I remember a word that I heard from a friend back then in school. I read engineering. Yes, don't be surprised. That's mechanical engineering. So he also an engineer, electrical, was in school for over 9 years, a course of 5 years. But by the time I was graduating and I asked him, why didn't you think of maybe taking maybe like a lesser, maybe less stressful course? Let me not use the word lesser, less stressful course. Like maybe say business management.
That's not less stressful in any way.
Well, we can talk about that. But then we were thinking, why not just pick up art or something else? So he said no, that he's not anybody's mate. Everybody's got their time. That I'm coming and leaving does not make him as though he's not meeting up with his own time. And today, I can tell you, seeing this person in real life, even after spending those 9 years there in school, he is doing well. Doing well. Even more than some persons that graduated more than that 5 years ago. Everybody's got time.
Yeah.
And that's discipline, right? And then the last, accountability. Accountable to yourself. Accountable to who you answer to. Because in business, associate matters. We work with people, not just yourself. So you just have to have a way of keeping yourself in check. Accountability matters. So if we put up all of these attributes, this character, there's no time if I would have talked so much on each of them. But when you weigh them with all of this, you can see opportunity, you can analyze, you can work on it and succeed. You just need to take your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We've come to the end of our show, and we're so glad and grateful for taking all of the time to share your stories with us. I hope that we've picked out some very essential lessons. Some of the things that I've picked out today: patience, contentment. We've also talked about saving as a way of, when opportunities come, so you would be able to grab them. And then we've also talked about accountability. But the most important of all of them, integrity. Integrity, because most people don't care about that at all. They just want to do it in that time and move on and all of that. But we're learning today how essential integrity is. It was nice having you, and thank you for coming.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, we've come to the end of our show for today. Remember to turn on the notification bell and subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much.